Bonjour. As Jerry has said, it is exactly 53 days before the year comes to an end and we usher in 2019. Many of us made resolutions in the beginning of the year. Well, we have a few days left to accomplish our goals. With this in mind, I would like to go back to a major goal that encompasses our continent. The African Union set a 2018 deadline for the removal of visa requirements for all African citizens in all African countries. The free movement of persons and the African passport policy was adopted by the African Union at the 27th Ordinary Session held in Kigali, Rwanda in July 2016. African states were expected to adopt the African passport and work closely with the AU Commission to facilitate its issuance at the national level based on international, continental and national policy provisions and continental design and specifications. How far along have we come, one may ask? A recent report by the AU found that Africans can travel without a visa to just 22% of other African countries. To date, Seychelles is the only African nation where visa-free travel is open to all Africans as well as to citizens of every nation, as it has always been. Nevertheless, a number of countries have slightly loosened their visa rules. Namibia, Mauritius, Ghana, Rwanda, Benin, Kenya, Ethiopia have all loosened travel restrictions for other African nations and now either grant a visa on arrival or allow visits for up to 90 days with just a passport. I spoke to Boni Tunya, a senior broadcast journalist at the BBC, who explained why some governments have failed to move forward on this. Take a listen.
So, Elaine, I think what we need to start with realizing is the fact that even the setting of an access-free Africa was an ambitious project to start with, because whilst the different presidents might have thought that this would be a great thing, the people who are responsible for implementing this have different sets of difficulties to work with. For example, I was talking about the different foreign policies that the African countries have, and that makes it difficult to even agree on basics on who should come in and should not. And so, like, a visa-free Africa is a fantastic idea. However, the devil is in the details.
The next questions that many are wondering is what is the hindrance that is stopping other African countries to follow the way of these countries who have really eased their visa requirements? Boni Tunya tells us more.
I think, Elaine, African markets are very small, and if we keep them isolated, then we don't take the full advantage of what we should be getting. Opening Africa, free access of people and goods is very important because it actually, in essence, opens up the market. For example, it opens up the ESC. So if you're a business person, a service provider operating in Kenya, an open East Africa allows you access to a much bigger economy. So, I mean, there's everything good going for an all-access Africa or a visa-free Africa, if you may, as opposed to having little isolated markets. So access to market is one of the biggest things, but also the fact that there's the interaction that goes into place. There's exchange of best practices.
While Ethiopia is now the latest country to ease their visa requirements, as I had earlier mentioned, they did this just last week. This new service was launched at a ceremony at the headquarters of the African Union Commission with at the African Union Commission, I beg your pardon. Musa Faki Mahamat, chairperson of the African Union Commission, issued a statement on the move saying the following.
This is a truly historic moment. By taking this decision, Ethiopia is once again demonstrating its commitment to the ideals of our union and the principles which inform Pan-Africanism. I commend Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and the Ethiopian government for this landmark step. There is no doubt that the institution of a visa on arrival and e-visa arrangement for all African citizens will greatly enhance the status of Addis Ababa as the political capital of our continent. This measure will also boost tourism. I would like to take this opportunity to commend all member states that have already taken measures to ease the travel of African citizens on the continent. I urge those that have not yet done so to follow suit. Free movement of African people in their own continent is a long-held dream for all Pan-Africanists.
Well, the year is not yet over. We therefore hope that other nations will follow suit, as free movement of Africans between African countries could unquestionably facilitate growth. Allowing freer movement will encourage trade, tourism and investment between African countries. There has been a significant rise in inward tourist arrivals from other African countries. We have to leave it at there, and we hope that, and we continue hoping that as we approach 2019, we'll be able to move freely from one country to another. My name is Elaine Wangalwa. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.